Patreon friends. So I've begun and I've read the first short story, Pestilence, which is basically a story about, this is full on heavy spoilers, so maybe don't, if you're going to read it, like, yeah, don't listen. But basically there is a terrible blood plague that's really gross with loads of pus, destroying, just ripping through the empire, and like everyone is affected, no matter how good you are in the Imperium, whatever level you are, you're turning into a bloody pus. So they send this detective, and basically he finds out that it was like a terrible warp chaos driven plague that got into the minds of all the Emperor's best doctors and scientists and made them infect more people. So I thought that was very clever. It was properly gross, like Dan Abnett has a knack for writing really disgusting descriptions, but there was a very cool like desert convent planet, and there was this really cool visual of the detective that goes to inspect it. It's a really hot planet climate, so he wears like this big hat and he turns up and rings the bell to go to this place to find out where the plague came from. And because he's wearing this big straw hat but his normal, you know, Imperium clothes, they think, oh, he's insane, because it's also an asylum. So some quite funny stuff like that. But yeah, really enjoyed it. Didn't expect the twist ending. Thought it was great. Thumbs up. Hey patron friends, so another short story from the Magos, Master Imus Transgression. This is very cool. It made me think a little bit about that movie Brazil, as many Warhammer novels do. This really cute, meek, mild accountant, again, spoilers, sorry. Really meek and mild accountant goes to the Imperium and he's like, I'm really sorry, I've done a bad thing. I've seen a warp number. I've seen a number of chaos and I should be punished. And the investigators, one of whom is Eisenhorn, who we know, very young version, go to his house. And they look through his house and they're like, why are these drugs here? These drugs are, you know, twisted warp drugs. And he's like, I don't know. And they say, why are these illegal books here? And he says, I don't know. And they say, stand down, citizen, leave his house. The next day he goes to his offices, this accountant, and it's all closed up. And it turns out that the people in his company were doing dodgy warp dealings, and they framed this little accountant guy. But because the little accountant was so honest and loved the Emperor, was so loyal, he went and gave himself in. And then they were like, oh, they're just framing. Eisenhorn's team realised this little dude is being framed, so we're going to take the company out. So he said to Eisenhorn, oh, but I'm an old man and I'm too old to be retrained. Like, what will I do for a job now? And the guy was like, sorry, citizen, not our problem, but thanks for being loyal. And it was just like, I mean, I hate that kind of story. I was like, this is so mean, but does completely encompass what bunch of bastards the Imperium are. And that satire is just like, you know, the fresh smell of satire. So again, another tiny little story that I really enjoyed. So yeah, thumbs up.